Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's greatest commanders and warriors. I'm your host, General Biography, and today we're going to explore the fascinating story of Osman I, the founder of the Ottoman Empire. Born in the late 13th century, around 1258 AD, in the small Turkish village of Surman, would grow up to become one of the most influential leaders in history, leaving an indelible mark on the world. As we journey through the early life of Osman I, we find ourselves in the rolling hills and fertile plains of northwestern Anatolia, a region that had been shaped by the ebb and flow of various empires and civilizations. The village of Siret, where Osman was born, was a small but strategic settlement nestled near the Sakarya River and surrounded by mountains. This picturesque landscape would play a significant role in shaping Osman's early life and future endeavors. Osman's family background is steeped in history and tradition. His father, Ertuğrul Bey, was a Turkish tribal leader who had migrated to Anatolia from Central Asia, fleeing the Mongol invasions that had ravaged their homeland. Ertuğrul was a respected warrior and leader, known for his bravery and military prowess, which would later become the hallmark of the Ottoman Empire. Osman's mother, whose name is not well documented, was likely a member of a local Turkish tribe, and her influence on Osman's early life would have been significant. Growing up in Siret, Osman would have been surrounded by the sounds of horses' hooves, the smell of freshly baked bread, and the sight of rolling hills stretching as far as the eye could see. His childhood was marked by a rigorous education, which included training in martial skills, such as archery, sword fighting, and horsemanship, as well as studies in Islam, Arabic language, and Islamic law. The local scholars and Sufi mystics would have played an important role in shaping Osman's worldview, instilling in him the values of courage, loyalty, and justice. One of the most significant influences on Osman's early life was his father's spiritual advisor, Sheikh Edebali, a respected Sufi mystic who had settled in Sueshet. Sheikh Edebali would often regale Osman with stories of the Prophet Muhammad, emphasizing the importance of compassion, wisdom, and leadership. These early lessons would shape Osman's character, instilling in him a strong sense of purpose and duty. As Osman grew into adolescence, he would have participated in raids and skirmishes against neighboring clans, honing his skills as a warrior and learning the importance of strategy and adaptability. The Kayyi tribe, to which Osman belonged, was known for its lightning-fast cavalry attacks, which allowed them to exploit the weaknesses of their enemies and quickly retreat to safety. These early military experiences would prove invaluable in Osman's future campaigns. The historical context of Osman's early years was marked by great upheaval and transformation. The Mongol invasions had disrupted traditional trade routes and power structures, creating opportunities for ambitious leaders like Ertuğrul to carve out their own territories. The Byzantine Empire, which had once been a dominant force in the region, was in decline, leaving behind a patchwork of small kingdoms and city-states that were vulnerable to Turkish raids. With his strong family background, rigorous education, and experience as a warrior, Osman is ready to take on the challenges of the world around him. As we pick up the story, Osman is in his late 20s, having taken over as the leader of the Kayyi tribe after his father's death. He is determined to expand his territory and create a lasting legacy. The year is around 1290 AD, and the Byzantine Empire, which had once been a dominant force in the region, is in decline. The small kingdoms and city-states that have sprung up in its wake are vulnerable to Turkish raids, and Osman sees an opportunity to carve out his own territory. One of Osman's earliest victories was against the Byzantines at the Battle of Baphius, fought around 1301 AD. This decisive victory marked a significant turning point for Osman, as it demonstrated his military prowess and earned him recognition among the Turkish tribes. The battle took place near the town of Nicomedia, in modern-day Turkey, where Osman's forces clashed with a Byzantine army led by a commander named Kuropalats. Despite being outnumbered, Osman's cavalry proved to be too much for the Byzantines, and they emerged victorious. This victory was followed by a series of successful campaigns against other Turkish tribes and Byzantine strongholds. Osman's military tactics were characterized by speed, mobility, and surprise attacks, which allowed him to exploit the weaknesses of his enemies and quickly retreat to safety. He also made strategic alliances with neighboring tribes and leaders, often sealing these alliances through marriage or other forms of diplomacy. As Osman's power grew, so did his reputation as a just and fair leader. He was known for his bravery, wisdom, and compassion, which earned him the respect and loyalty of his followers. The Ottoman Empire, which would eventually become one of the most powerful empires in history, was founded on the principles of justice, equality, and tolerance, all of which were reflected in Osman's character. One notable example of Osman's fairness and wisdom is the story of his encounter with a group of Turkish dervishes, or Sufi mystics. These dervishes had settled in the town of Eskihir, which was under Osman's control, and they were known for their piety and spiritual wisdom. Osman, who was himself a devout Muslim, sought out the advice and guidance of these dervishes, often visiting them in their monastery and seeking their counsel on matters of state and spirituality. The historical context of Osman's rise to power is also significant. The late 13th century was a time of great upheaval and transformation in the region, with the Mongol invasions having disrupted traditional trade routes and power structures. The Byzantine Empire, which had once been a dominant force, was in decline, leaving behind a patchwork of small kingdoms and city-states that were vulnerable to Turkish raids. Osman's ability to navigate this complex web of alliances and rivalries was a key factor in his success. He formed strategic alliances with neighboring tribes and leaders, often sealing these alliances through marriage or other forms of diplomacy. He also made sure to maintain good relations with the Mongols, who were still a powerful force in the region. The Ottoman Empire, which would eventually become one of the most powerful empires in history, was founded on the principles that Osman embodied, and his legacy would continue to shape the world for centuries to come. As Osman grew older, he began to face new challenges and difficulties. The Ottoman Empire was expanding rapidly, and Osman had to navigate a complex web of alliances and rivalries with neighboring tribes and states. He also had to deal with internal conflicts and power struggles within his own family and administration. One of the major challenges Osman faced during this period was the threat posed by the Byzantine Empire, which was still a powerful force in the region. The Byzantines were determined to stop the Ottoman advance and regain control over the territories they had lost. Osman responded to this threat by launching a series of military campaigns against the Byzantines, including the siege of Nicomedia, which lasted for several years. Despite these challenges, Osman remained committed to his vision of creating a just and fair society. He continued to promote the principles of justice, equality, and tolerance, which had been the foundation of the Ottoman Empire from its inception. He also encouraged trade, commerce, and cultural exchange with neighboring states, which helped to establish the Ottomans as a major economic and cultural power in the region. Osman's later years were also marked by personal struggles and tragedies. He suffered from poor health, particularly in his final years, and was forced to rely on his sons and other family members to help him govern the empire. He also faced opposition from some of his own family members, who were dissatisfied with his leadership and sought to overthrow him. Despite these challenges, Osman remained a revered and respected figure among his people. He was known for his wisdom, compassion, and fairness, and his legacy continued to shape the Ottoman Empire long after his death. As the founder of one of the greatest empires in history, Osman's impact on world events cannot be overstated. As we reflect on Osman's life and legacy, it is clear that he was a truly remarkable individual who left an indelible mark on the world. His commitment to justice, equality, and tolerance continues to inspire people around the world today, and his legacy serves as a reminder of the power of vision, leadership, and determination. In the words of the great Ottoman historian Ibn Kamal, Osman was a just and fair ruler, loved by his people and respected by his enemies. He was a true leader who guided his people with wisdom and compassion and left behind a legacy that would be remembered for centuries to come. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.